Hey there, everybody. Today's video, I'm going to share with you the pros and the cons of living in Taylorsville, Utah. So if you're thinking about moving to Taylorsville, you want to know what the good things are and the bad things, then stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Greg Spackman. I'm with the Living in Salt Lake City channel. If you're looking to learn everything about what it's like to live here, eat here, sleep here, and play here in the Salt Lake City and Taylorsville area, then click the subscribe button and the bell to be notified every time I do new videos. I've been getting a ton of you lately that are reaching out to me about making that move here to the Salt Lake City area and Taylorsville, and I absolutely love it. So if that's you, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. We would love to hear from you about making that move to Utah. So who lives in Taylorsville? Well, you have a mix of younger families, older families, single people, couples. Pretty much everyone lives in Taylorsville. You're going to find something of everyone of different ages, backgrounds, ethnicities. Taylorsville has a really good mix of people. So it's a great place to call home. So you might want to know what the typical home is like here in Taylorsville. Well, they were built in the 60s, 70s, and some in the 80s, and there are some newer ones that you can find here and there. There isn't a lot of new construction in Taylorsville. One of the things that people have been doing is in certain areas, they will buy a home and then tear it down and build their own new home. So you can definitely do that. A typical home here is going to be about 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. You can find more or less, but that's the typical. So let's go to my website and take a look at what some of the current homes are here in Taylorsville. All right, so here we are on my website. It's sorted by newest, which is my favorite way of sorting. We have 60 homes currently for sale in Taylorsville, starting with a mobile home of 3.2 of $75,000. There's another one. Here is a 4.2, what I talked about, 445, 1,800 square foot. They're offering 10,000 seller concessions and a 2-1 buy down, and we can talk about that if you don't know what that is. Here's a 5.3, 499, a 4.2, 639. Here's a 4.2, 410, really small, 1,300 square feet. Here's a 2-1 condo, 315, 559. Here's a 1-bedroom, 314, and we can just keep going down the list. Here's a 709, a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, 3,200 square foot. So what you're going to find in Taylorsville is from the high 300,000s up to around the $750,000 range. So the sweet spot's going to be in the $400,000 to $600,000 range, and we can definitely negotiate and help you save some money on your home if you're purchasing here in the next little bit, because homes are sitting a little bit longer than what they have in the past. I'm going to give you a couple of the pros of living in Taylorsville before I give you some of the cons or negative things of living in Taylorsville. So pro number 1 is the location and proximity to Salt Lake City. And we're jumping back over to the map. You can see Taylorsville is highlighted here in the center of the screen in red, and it's south of Salt Lake City. And then Provo is all the way down here. So these are kind of our 2 major big cities that we have near us. Taylorsville borders Kearns to the west, West Jordan to the south, Murray to the east, Mill Creek to the east, West Valley to the northwest, and then Salt Lake to the north. And Salt Lake, I mean part of Salt Lake. You are 14 minutes up to the airport. So you just shoot up this way, and here's the airport. So that's super cool that it's super close. You are 14 minutes to downtown Salt Lake City. You are 41 minutes to Park City, 40 minutes to Solitude and Brighton ski resorts. If you're going to ski or snowboard, you got to go to Salton and Brighton and check those ones out. They are my favorite. When I went 20 years ago and skied there in college, awesome. 40 minutes to Provo, 25 minutes to Little Dell Reservoir. So if you want to do some water sports, kayaking, paddleboarding, fishing, you're 25 minutes away for that. And so that covers our location of Taylorsville. You're going to really like the location, just where it is in relation to Salt Lake City and Provo and Lehigh, and really just depends where you're going to be working. But far as location, it's awesome. Pro number 2 on the list is the Salt Lake Community College, and it is the second highest rated community college in the nation. And it's a great place for you to go to school if you're going to be going to a community college before you transfer to one of the many universities we have, such as the University of Utah. Pro number 3 of living in Taylorsville is Taylorsville Days. So they have a parade and a carnival and some awesome concerts out on the lawn in the park. They have a cool firework display. Everything about the Taylorsville Days just brings the community together, and it's something that everyone in Taylorsville really looks forward to. Next up is a pro and a con, and that's the rankings and ratings according to niche.com. So let's go over those, and I'll give you my feedback on them. All right, here we have Taylorsville Open. It is number 48 best suburb to live in Utah. Overall, it has a B rating, a B- for public schools, B- for housing, B good for families, B for jobs, C cost of living, A for outdoor activities. They don't list crime and safety. B for nightlife. I would give it a little bit higher rating on the nightlife side because you're so close to Salt Lake that you can Uber or Lyft into Salt Lake, relatively inexpensive. A for diversity. That's really on the money. B plus weather. It is a great location as far as weather goes because it doesn't get as hot as some of the more west cities. It doesn't get as cold as some of the ones to the east. So it's awesome for weather. B plus health and fitness, and an A- for commute. I'd really give it more like an A for commute, other than one of my next cons that's coming up that you can hear about. Has about 60,000 people. They're saying the median home value $291. Realistically, it's probably $400,000 for the median home. Some other rankings. Taylorsville is the most diverse suburb in Utah, number 4 of 73. Most diverse places to live, number 12. Best suburb for young professionals, number 22. And then, of course, they didn't show that. And then here were some of their schools that they show with A ratings. So I don't know what they're talking about with their rankings. And so those are the pros and cons of the rankings in Taylorsville. And as you can see, some were good, some weren't so good. But overall, it's a great city. My next con of living in Taylorsville is the public transportation. And while we have great public transportation in the Salt Lake City area, Taylorsville has crappy public transportation because there's no track station and no front runner train station. You're going to have to either Uber or Lyft or drive your car or ride your bike over to them. Although I probably wouldn't bike over to it. But you're going to have to get yourself over to them. And by the time you get over to them and get situated and ride the thing, you might as well just have driven. So public transportation sucks in Taylorsville. My next con of living in Taylorsville is they need to fix more of the sidewalks. I've heard that they are in some rough shape in a lot of the neighborhoods, so they need to spend some money and get those fixed. I've seen that talked about online, and a couple people that I've met here and there. They seem to repair the roads pretty decently and fix the potholes, so you're going to see some, but not any more than you're going to see anywhere else. But just the sidewalks need to be better cared for. The next pro on the list of living in Taylorsville is it's getting its own temple. So if you are of the Mormon LDS faith, you have a temple that's going to be in Taylorsville. It's currently under construction, and I couldn't find a completion date anywhere online looking. If you happen to know when it's supposed to be completed, please comment below about that. That would be awesome. But as far as I know, hopefully in the next year it opens, but you're going to see that it's under construction. My next con is Taylorsville is lacking bike lanes, and its walkability scores are really, really poor on the list. So if you're wanting a more walkable city, then Taylorsville is not a great place for that. And then not having bike lanes, if you like to cycle at all, then it may not be great for that as well, since you don't have your own lanes. The next pro of living in Taylorsville is it's a pretty diverse place for religion. So if you are of the LDS faith, you have your churches, of course, and that's everywhere in Utah. You have no problem finding a church or ward or stake or whatever in the state of Utah. But there's Catholic churches in Taylorsville. There's even a Buddhist community in Taylorsville. So you have a lot of diversity as far as religion goes in Taylorsville. The next pro of living in Taylorsville is the proximity to I-215. and you're not far from I-15 either. But I-215 allows you to get where you want to go relatively quickly. Every time I've been on I-215, I've never had standstill traffic as of yet. It's always moving at 60 to 80 miles an hour, even some of the people that drive 100. But you can get on the freeway and go, and it goes all the way up into Salt Lake and then wraps around, and it's a cool freeway to take. The next pro of living in Taylorsville is the Four Lakes Golf Course and the Meadowbrook Golf Course. So if you are a golfer, you have two golf courses in the city. They have a main park in the city that has a playground. It has a skate park. It has pickleball courts and even frisbee golf. So you have that as well. You have the Vista Park softball fields if you're a softball player, and then you have the Vista Park baseball complex if you play, regular baseball. So that's super cool as well. So if I can help you in any way in Taylorsville or any city in the Salt Lake City area, please reach out to me. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I'd love to talk to you about Taylorsville or really any city in the Salt Lake City, Utah County, all this general area. Would love to talk to you about it. We researched a ton before we moved here, and then being a real estate agent, I've helped numerous clients look all over and purchase in different areas. So really it just depends on your budget and what things you want to do, and we can talk about all of that. So until next time, be rad.